Hello and welcome to Madden Franchise Rebuilds, the premiere episode of Madden Franchise Rebuilds on the Durson Network. The first franchise we're going to rebuild as part of this Madden 21 series is the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to get into a lot of the reasons why we chose the Philadelphia Eagles down the line. Obviously, hometown, my favorite team. But they're also a fun team to rebuild because they do present some unique challenges. There you see Ryan Durson. Let's pretend for a minute that in the offseason, Jeffrey Lurie said, you know what? I've had enough of Howie Roseman. I've had enough of Doug Peterson. I'm going to go out and get me Ryan Durson to run this franchise. And that's exactly what he did. So here I am to run the Eagles organization into the future. Really quick, I'm going to show you the settings and sliders that we're going to use and how this franchise rebuild is going to be structured. Again, I'm the head coach, general manager, president of football operations, whatever you want to call me. I am actually going to play every single game, but I'm only going to play the offensive snaps. We're not going to show that gameplay in this series to shorten the video and just give you guys a synopsis of the season, but I have literally played every offensive snap of this franchise season 1. So real quick look at the settings. All Madden skill level. We turned off pre-existing injuries. A lot of guys on that COVID list, so we don't play with that. However, injuries are on. 10-minute quarters set at 16 minimum play clock time. I believe that's for lack of a better term, this is a video game, so for lack of a better term, the most real way to play. You're never going to get perfection. It is a video game. Let's remember that. However, this provides you with the most realistic gameplay, in my humble opinion. Again, then we go to league sliders. So again, we're set at all Madden, and you can see by this slide I have the QB accuracy and run blocking set at 0. Why? Because QBs are really accurate in this game, and also it's not so difficult to run the ball. So we just put it up as high as we can go to all Madden, and then we turn those sliders all the way down to 0 to make it as difficult as possible for us. Couple other sliders down there that we adjust with pass blocking and wide receiver catching, turning those down as well. We also adjust CPU sliders and the player sliders, interceptions down to 25. Way too many picks being thrown by the users on these. You can take a look at these slides as we go along. The other thing we adjust is the injuries. We move that down to 10. We don't want to lose our entire roster. That wouldn't be any fun now, would it? Let's go ahead and take a look at our roster really quick. We're not going to go through every position right now. We're just going to look at cap space, and I'm going to talk for a minute about my game plan heading into the season. 28.9 million cap space. We got a lot of talent. However, these guys are old. You can look at our top 6 players there. The youngest of them is 29. We have an aging roster with heavy salaries. So we are really going to look to, before the season even starts, we're going to look to get younger in a multitude of ways. We're going to try and trade players with 1 or 2 years left on their deal that I don't see fitting into my franchise moving forward. We're going to look to move those guys for maybe rookies who just came out in this year's draft, or potentially next year draft picks. So let's get into, I'm going to show you the trades I made before the season started. First one we have here is Corey Clement and a second rounder to the Chiefs for their second round pick, which was Willie Gay. Then we have Alshon Jeffrey and Will Parks for Chase Claypool and the fourth rounder out of Pittsburgh. And I know what you're saying, Ryan, that's not real. That'll never happen. Well, guess what? It's a video game. We're having fun here. So pretend that I traded these guys. You know, I got aggressive during the draft, and I traded for the Pittsburgh second rounder, and I took Chase Claypool. Let's just suspend reality for a minute. It is 2020. So I'm doing that. I needed to get younger, so I went out and got me a Chase Claypool who's going to complement my first round Jalen Reagor as the wideouts for the next 5 to 10 years, hopefully. Again, we moved on here from Deshaun Jackson. We combined him with a backup tight end and a fifth rounder to get a power back to complement Miles Sanders, being A.J. Dillon from Green Bay. We moved Malik Jackson for a backup linebacker rookie, Taylor Muse out of Clemson, and a fourth rounder from Oakland. Then we moved from getting rookies to next year's draft, trying to accumulate draft picks. We moved Marquise Godwin, Travis Fulgham, and a fourth rounder for the Jets' first rounder. We also acquired the Jaguars first rounder for a backup safety and a second and a third rounder. Again, we moved another third and fourth round pick and a backup tight end for the Jaguars' second round pick. And then we moved a couple backups, the horrible Nathan Jerry, along with Perkins and LeBlanc, to the Giants for their third rounder. We moved Vinny Curry and Riley for another second rounder. And as you can see, taking a look at our draft picks, we have 3 first rounders, a second rounder, a fifth rounder, a sixth rounder, and a seventh rounder. So some of those draft picks I combined to move up once again, as you can see. But really feel good about the rookies we acquired. A.J. Dillon, Chase Claypool, Willie Gay. Really happy about that, but also happy to have acquired 3 first-rounders heading into next offseason's draft. So really excited about that. So now taking a look at our salary cap space heading into week 1 of the regular season. We now have $44.5 million in cap space with 21.1 cap penalty, which is huge. Again, these contracts are ugly right now, and we moved on from a lot of them, but we're going to be in bad cap space heading into the 2021 season, which we'll get to down the line. But again, this roster is just we just got to get younger. Way too many high salary guys that are aging. You can look at our overalls here heading into the season. 83 overall, 87 offense, 80 defense. And let's take a look at our offensive side of the ball heading into week 1. Again, Jalen Reagor and Chase Claypool on the outside, backed up by, I kept Wade. We got Watkins, Hightower, backing them up. Then at the quarterback position, obviously you have Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts, and Sudfeld. You can see I have Taysom Hill starting at fullback. I acquired him from free agency. The Saints released him. He was their third-string quarterback. I moved him to tight end, and then I started him at fullback. Fun guy to play with in this league. Just interesting guy to move around. He's our fourth-string quarterback, first-string fullback, third-string tight end, so we like to move around. Offensive line, let's just go across the board. Dillard at tackle, Peters at guard, Kelsey at center. Then we have Brooks at guard and Johnson. So one of the best offensive lines in all of football. We also have Ertz and Goddard starting as our tight ends. We're going to use a lot of 2 tight end sets and look to get those guys involved as much as possible. Defensive side of the football, take a look. We have Hargrave, who we got in free agency, along with Cox anchoring the middle of that D-line. And on the outside, we have Brandon Graham and Barnett. Then at linebacker, we're really going to this scheme really plays primarily 2 linebacker sets. So Willie Gay and Davion Taylor, 2 rookies, are going to look to get the majority of the snaps at the linebacker position. Then at corner, we have Darius Slay with Roby Coleman and Avonte Maddox rounding out the group. Then at safety, we're starting Rodney McLeod at strong safety and Jalen Mills at free. We were originally going to start the rookie Kayvon Wallace out of Clemson at strong safety. However, he did get injured going into the year. I think he's out the first 4 weeks. Take a look quickly at our special teams. Nothing special about them other than we have the 4th-string rookie running back Huntley as our kick and punt returner. And then if you want to take a quick look at our specialists, Jalen Reagor is going to be our slot receiver. Miles Sanders is going to be our all-purpose and third down and power back. And then nothing really special as far as defensive side of the football other than our nickel, Roby Coleman or whatever his name is. He's going to be our nickel quarterback. Take another quick look at the practice squad here. Nothing really to note there. And we are going to show you what we committed to heading into the 2020 season for the Philadelphia Eagles. We committed to make the playoffs. I think right now it's get in the tourney. That was our mindset. Just get into the tournament and then go from there. So we committed to that goal. Our offensive scheme, we're going to use Philly's playbook. And we are 72% matched with the vertical power run. We're a 90% match with a base 4-3, which is a good number to be at. And there you see Kayvon Wallace. He's going to be out the first 4 weeks of the season. But we are going to look to get him a lot of playing time. Really looking to get all the rookies plenty of experience so that we can build them up moving into the future of this franchise. This slide is to illustrate the lack of cap space that we have. We can't re-sign any of the guys in the last year of their deal. We have no money heading into the offseason. This just shows you right here. We actually we can't even offer this guy $750K because we would be in negative cap space. It's the roster's a mess. We got to continue to rebuild that the next couple years. So we played every single game, and let's go down the list. We ripped off 6 wins in a row to start the year before we lost to the Giants in a divisional matchup. Then we beat the Cowboys. We went on to win a couple more games. Then we lost to Seattle. Basically won out until the last game of the year in which we lost to the Washington football team, but I was pulling some guys because we had already clinched home field advantage throughout. We finished the season at 13-3. Very proud of that. Not an easy thing to do on all Madden with quarterback accuracy set at 0, but nonetheless, finished the season at 13-3. There you can see the Browns with 12-4, 49ers 12-4, Pats and Saints at 11-5, and then the Bears and Broncos at 10-6. Here you see the top NFC East teams with each of these teams getting into the playoffs. Also there you see the AFC teams. Well, how about the Bengals getting into the playoffs at 9-7 with a rookie quarterback? Another surprise team in the AFC is the Broncos. Didn't expect them to be all that great, but here they are at 10-6 and in the playoffs. Here's a look at the worst teams in the league, and how about those Jets at 3-13? Well, it's good for me. I have the Jets' first-round pick going into the draft, so that means I have the number 1 overall pick. Going to be really interesting to see what the Ryan Derson-led Philadelphia Eagles do with that number 1 overall pick in the offseason. Let's take a look at our stats. Wentz, 3,617 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, 69% completion percentage, only sacked 16 times. Really good play from Carson. Turned the ball over a lot earlier in the year and then cleaned it up at the end. There you can see Jalen Hurts as well. Didn't really play that well in the passing game. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but we did look to get him some reps there to see what he looked like. Didn't look good, but he did look good in the running game, which you'll see here. He actually had 229 yards and 7 TDs, but our running game was led by Miles Sanders with 1,283, 12 touchdowns, no fumbles. That's 80 yards a game. He had a really solid season, 5.5 yards per carry. Boston Scott and A.J. Dillon both did their fair share backing up Sanders, and Wentz also chipped in with 162 yards and 2 TDs. There also you see Taysom Hill. We got him involved a lot in short yardage situations on fullback dives. He carried the ball 16 times for 89 yards. I mean, I guess it's relative when you say a lot for a fullback, but a carry a game for Taysom Hill. Take a look at our wide receiver stats. Not one wide receiver over 850 receiving yards. That's probably going to change moving forward. A lot of young players here, but Chase Claypool led the team with 849 and 12 TDs. Ertz with 832 and 5. Goddard, 743 and 9. Big year from him. We're probably going to look to move on from Ertz this offseason, so look for Goddard to have a huge 2021 season next year. Jalen Reagor, 719 and 5. He battled through a lot of injuries throughout the season. Out a couple weeks here, out a couple weeks there. Really hoping he stays healthy moving forward because that was a little disappointing for me, to be honest. Then you see Miles Sanders, good option for us out of the backfield with 61 receptions, 581 yards, but no touchdowns to claim. Defensive stats. Willie Gay led the team with 115 tackles. Really have to get the other linebacker more involved at the tackling. We can't have a cornerback second on the team in tackles. Sacks. Graham led the team with 11. Cox with 9. The fact that those two can combine for 20, I'll take that all day. Hargrave with 8. Barnett with 6.5. Davion Taylor with 1.5. Interceptions. Happy with the turnovers that our defense was able to force. Really helped us achieve that 13-3 record. Darius Slay led the team with 4 interceptions. Roby Coleman with 3. Taylor, Maddox, and Gay each with 2. And McLeod and Haley each with 1. Jake Elliott played really well for us. 20-22 field goal with a long of 55. Second overall in the entire NFL in offense. First overall in the entire NFL in defense. Our defense put up 38 total sacks, forced 4 fumbles, and 15 interceptions. Again, I'm really happy with that turnover number. I think we could increase the sacks, but it's going to be hard to do with these guys who are aging. NFL stats. Cam Newton led the league with 4,948 yards, 35 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Good play out of him. Take a look at Nick Foles, 46-16. What a year for him out of Chicago. Mahomes put up 41-7 with 4,040 passing yards. Let's see. Matt Ryan led the league in interceptions with 17. Rushing yards, Zeke led the league. Ezekiel Elliott, 1363 with 11 TDs. Not a ton of 1,000-yard rushers in this league in 2020, which I think is real. I think we're moving away from those 1,000-yard rushers more and more every year. Then you see Sony Michel led the league with 15 rushing touchdowns. Kamara, Freeman, and Chubb each with 14 respectively. Receiving yards, 1328 led the league by Cole Beasley. 99 catches, 1328, and 10 TDs. So a good year out of him. But you can see all these 1,000-yard receivers as compared to the 1,000-yard running backs. I mean, we got multiple pages of 1,000-yard receivers. We only had 2 of rushers. So interesting. Corey Davis led the league in receptions for Tennessee Titans with 101. Jared Cook, the tight end from New Orleans, a close second with 100 catches. Tyreek Hill led the league, or tied for the league lead, with reception touchdowns with 15. He tied that with Allen Robinson. Johnson, Lamb, the rookie, and just Johnson and Lamb had 14. Samuel had 13. Defensive NFL stats, Myles Jack led the league with 135 tackles. Mosley a close second with 133. Buckner and Watt tied for the league lead in tackles for loss at 21. Sack leader goes to Von Miller with 15. Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, and J.J. Watt, each with over 13. Interception leaders, a tie for the league lead with 5 between Stephon Gilmore, Ward from Cleveland, Levante David, and Warner from San Francisco. So 2 linebackers getting 5 interceptions, which is impressive. But there you can continue to see a bunch of corners and D-backs with 4 interceptions. Kendall Fuller, Harrison Smith, to name a few. Rounding out the interception list there. Kick returning, Tariq Cohen had 2 touchdown returned. Cordell Patterson had 1, and KJ Hamler out of Penn State also had 1. Only 1 punt return for a touchdown from Jamison Crowder. Let's look at the playoffs. Here we are, first round, wild card round. The Colts routed the Titans in Tennessee, 42-14. Bengals shocked the Broncos, and moving on. Patriots lost to Buffalo, so right there we have, and then the Buccaneers beat the Bears. So right there you had 4 road teams win in that first round of the playoffs. So Tom Brady continues his winning percentage in the playoffs. Then you see Dallas lost by 1 to New Orleans in a toughly contested wild card playoff game. And then you have the Seahawks beating San Francisco 38-35. And this is where we get involved. We a really tough matchup in the second round, the divisional round, but we beat the Seahawks 27-24. This was a really close game. A game in the fourth quarter, I wasn't looking too good. Kind of thought we were going to lose, but made some plays on fourth down. Carson Wentz really stepped up with some fourth down passes to get the game-winning field goal there. Moving on, we have the Browns dominating Buffalo 38-10. Cincinnati losing and ending their playoff run against the Colts, losing 28-7. And then Buccaneers, Tom Brady out of the playoffs against Drew Brees-led Saints by winning 42-21. So then takes us to the conference round where the Eagles, again, another tough game. Probably should have lost this one, but won. Beat the New Orleans Saints 31-13. So we're moving on to the Super Bowl. You can see the Colts lost to the Browns there 35-21. So we have a Cleveland Browns, Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl matchup. Going to be a really tough game. Cleveland's a tough team to play in the sim. Myles Garrett gets after you, and they can score points. Let's take a look at awards for the 2020 football season. No surprise here. Patty Mahomes wins the MVP. Ryan Durson, yours truly, Coach of the Year with a 13-3 year for the Eagles. Really proud of that. I'll come up with my speech later. Then we have NFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Drew Brees. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Eric Kendricks from Minnesota. Rookie of the year in the NFC goes to CeeDee Lamb. Chase Claypool, a close second there. We have a couple guys on that list with Jalen Reagor and Hurts also on the list. Willie Gay from Philadelphia, named NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Then we have the best quarterback in the NFC goes to Nick Foles. How about that? Miles Sanders named the best running back. CeeDee Lamb, the rookie, great pick for the Cowboys. Already the best wide receiver in the NFC. And best offensive linemen in the NFC are filled by the first three are Eagles in Kelsey, Johnson, and Brooks. So that offensive line is just dominant, really paving the way for the running game and protecting Carson Wentz. Aaron Donald is the best defensive lineman in the NFC. Kendricks, again, Defensive Player of the Year and the best linebacker. Landon Collins won the best defensive back in the NFC. And Elliott, our kicker, best kicker in the NFC. Moving to the AFC, the MVP, Patty Mahomes, wins Offensive Player of the Year. Von Miller, the sack leader, Defensive Player of the Year. Herbert, Rookie of the Year there with the LA Chargers. Logan Wilson, linebacker for Cincinnati, wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ben Roethlisberger named Best Quarterback. Henry, Best Running Back. Deontay Johnson from Pittsburgh had a big year, and he won Best Wide Receiver from the AFC. There you see Quentin Nelson, the Notre Dame product, being named Best Offensive Lineman in the AFC. J.J. Watt, another great year, Best Defensive Lineman. Von Miller, Best Linebacker. Denzel Ward, Best Defensive Back. And Rodrigo Blankenship, named the best kicker out of the AFC. You can see some development points received here by Miles Sanders and Willie Gay for the awards that they took home. And here we are in the Super Bowl against the Cleveland Browns. There I am, Ryan Durson. Really proud to be here. Really humbling experience coaching in the Super Bowl. You can see Carson Wentz leading his team out there in Tampa Bay. I didn't realize the Super Bowl was Tampa Bay this year, so in real life, Tom Brady takes it there. That would be pretty cool. There you can see some quick gameplay. And there you see victory formation. That's right. The Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl once again, beating the Cleveland Browns 28-18. Tough fought game, but not as tough as the divisional and the conference round. But we pulled out a 10-point victory in the Super Bowl. You can see the graffiti coming down, shaking hands, upset Baker Mayfield. Carson Wentz wins the Super Bowl MVP with 210 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Just a solid overall game management by him gets him the Super Bowl MVP. So congratulations to Carson Wentz. There he is taking the podium, kissing the trophy, passing it along. Again, really excited to be a Super Bowl champion in year one. There are no guarantees. I've played this game many times before, and you don't always end up a Super Bowl champion. So we're really proud to do that, especially in a Madden franchise that was designed from the beginning to be our first episode, first team to highlight in this series on the Durson Network. There you see 14,525 total XP points earned by Ryan Durson. We're going to look to redeem those before year 2. And you can see our overalls went up quite a bit, or a little bit, from the beginning of the year. We're now at an 85 overall, 88 overall offense, and 83 overall defense. So that's going to do it for this episode. In episode 2 of the realistic rebuild of the Philadelphia Eagles, we are going to take a look at the offseason, and I'll just give you some things to look forward to. Free agency, again, just to reiterate, we had no money, so not a lot going on in free agency, but the draft gets really interesting. We have the number 1 overall pick in the 2021 draft. We're really excited about that. A couple guys we really have to think about moving on from. Zach Ertz is at the top of the list. Brandon Graham is on that list as well. And rounded out is Jason Kelsey. Guys who have helped bring this great franchise 2 Super Bowls now in the last several years. We're probably going to look to move on from. Maybe we acquire additional draft picks. Maybe we acquire players. Who knows? But in any case, again, in an effort to make this franchise younger and continue to build for the future, we have to sacrifice some great talent. So look for that in episode 2, the offseason of the franchise rebuild of the Philadelphia Eagles. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button and keep watching all these shows on the Durston Network. Really appreciate you guys. And leave some comments if you have any suggestions or any things you would like me to highlight throughout my franchise rebuilds, because we're going to look to do a couple of these moving forward. But we're going to stick on the Eagles for a little bit and see how many Super Bowls we can bring to Philadelphia. That does it for this episode. Have a great day. We'll see you in the offseason.